Alright, what's up everybody, it's GUA here, and bringing you guys a recorded game review here. I'm going to hop into this. Gentle is the player I'm going to be watching here. So, quick rundown. Basically, I started offering coaching. I'm doing coaching where you pay like a monthly fee, and I'm allowing players to do like 1 week of free coaching, and then perhaps charge them if they want to continue coaching. They can pay a monthly fee. So yeah, I'm starting to kick this off and going to do a lot of record reviews probably. So Gentle is one of the guys that is interested. And if you're interested in coaching, you guys can join my Discord. There'll be a link down below in the description, and you can ask about the coaching in there. Alright, so we are following Gentle here. He is a Gold 3 player. He is playing as a Chinese, playing against a Mongol player on Lipini. So we're going to be following him and just trying to give him some advice here. I'm going to kind of, for most of these wrecks, I'll probably speed through them pretty quick. We'll see. Maybe I'll go slower, just depending on my mood and all that. But obviously you don't need to watch it at like regular speed. So it looks like he was doing the trick where you can, gather from a tree initially, and then you build. I'm not sure if he did it correctly though, but what the idea is that you chop from wood from a straggler tree, and then you build a drop-off building, even if it's a mill. And when you drop off, the villagers are holding 10 wood, and then they build the mill. And when you first build a drop-off building, you can drop off any resource to it. So they drop off like the wood, and it's like a nice little trick that you'll see players do, so they don't have to build a lumber camp basically. But yeah, anyway, so when playing against Mongols, the most popular thing that Mongols do is that they tower rush. So you always want to kind of have that idea that, okay, there's a good chance that the Mongol player is going to spear rush me and do a tower rush. Playing it as the Chinese is one of the civs where they can kind of deal with the Mongol tower rush pretty well, because you can drop a barracks in age 1, and you can make quite a lot of spearmen with Chinese. So that's definitely one option to defend from a Mongol tower rush. Another option is just building towers yourself, because the Chinese can build towers really quickly. So Chinese has some pretty good options against dealing versus early Mongol aggression. But looking from Gentle's point of view, it's a little bit dangerous that he hasn't scouted his opponent's base at all. I would probably want to know if the Mongol player is tower rushing me. So Gentle's playing really in the dark, kind of just assuming that there's not going to be any aggression. And it looks like he's kind of lucking out, because there could be like a tower being built like right here without him knowing. So it's a little bit dangerous that he didn't really scout his opponent. Now he does see that there's a barracks there. So this would indicate that there's probably a tower rush coming. But I feel like it's already pretty late. Okay, here we go. The tower rush is coming. But yeah, Gentle kind of seen this really late, and now he's pulling villagers to try to deal with the tower rush. And you'll see a lot of players do this, especially at like the lower or YOLOs and I don't know, maybe gold, even like diamond players. Like when you haven't played against tower rushes a lot, it's like a natural instinct to want to like pull villagers to defend against the tower rush. But I think this is one of the worst things that you can do versus tower rush. And I've been playing as Mongols a lot recently myself, and I've been doing the tower rush myself, so I've been getting a really good perspective of like how this plays out as a Mongol player, and what you hope your opponent would do. But yeah, I think this is a really bad option that Gentle is doing, because number one, all 4 of these villagers are going idle. Like, they're not gathering any resources, and now 2 more are being pulled. So all these villagers are idle, not gathering any resources, which is already a huge hit to Gentle's economy. The Mongol player, he has 1 idle villager. This is me losing the con there is really bad by the Mongol player, like really, really bad. Good job microing there. But yeah, the Mongol player only has 1 idle villager. Meanwhile, Gentle has 6 idle villagers, and this is for a long time. And if the Mongol player was microing a little bit better, he would be using his spearmen to kind of pick off these villagers better. He would have kept his con alive. Gentle already lost 1 villager, so this is already like a huge blow to Gentle. Like, he's denying this tower from getting up, but he has so much idle time. He has 6 villagers that were idled compared to the Mongol player having 1 idle vill. Like basically he's like almost deleting 6 villas compared to the Mongol player deleting 1 villa. Like that's a huge hit to your economy. Not something you want to do. And Gentle lost 1 villager in the process. So instead of like doing stuff like this, pulling villagers to try to defend the tower rush, the better options for Chinese is you build a barracks in age 1 against Mongols, and you just make a bunch of spearmen. And you kind of use your spearmen to push back the Mongol player and to deny towers from going up. Second option would be that you just build towers yourself. So you gather some wood, and basically as the Mongol player would be building this tower, he would be building it only with 1 villager. Gentle could have built like a tower here with like 3 villagers, and then basically like got his tower built before this one would have finished, and then the Mongol player would have had to delete this tower. Gentle, okay, nice, almost lost the scout. Building the archer range right away is nice, just to deny this like tower from getting up if I think the 1 Mongol villager did go down, but in case the Mongol player sends like more villagers to finish this tower. So definitely nice to try to rush and get some archers out there. And now the Mongol player sees he's not going to be able to do anything. There's already an archer out on the field, so he deletes his tower to save the wood. And let's see, meanwhile Gentle is, he's up to H2. I went with the Imperial Academy, which is fine. He could have done the Barbican to be like a little more cautious, but I don't think he really needed to. He was fine just building the Imperial Academy here. He is crossing the map with a single archer. It's not a bad idea, but at the same time, it's a little risky. I mean, the Mongol player is still in Age 1, so this is probably fine. But a lot of times, Mongol players will build spearmen, and then they'll follow up by building a stable and like double producing horsemen. So it can be really risky crossing the map with archers, because there can be some like early horsemen that to potentially pick off your archers. So it's a little bit risky, like I said, crossing the map without having your scout like looking at the Uvu to see if there's a stable built. But it is early, so he's kind of okay here. But let's see, is the stable? Yeah, exactly. So like a stable is going up, and maybe this could have went up a little bit sooner if the Mongol player was macroing better, and then these archers could have potentially just got picked off. But it does force the Mongol player to build a tower here, which is always nice. And now Gentle is actually just backing off, so that's nice. Looks like he's gonna get housed here, and ooh, looks like so Gentle's building a regular house when he could just build a village. So definitely a mistake there. With China, it's okay to build your first initial house because it's cheaper than a village. But after that first initial house, there's no reason not to build a village. A village is just it's essentially cheaper, right? It gives you 40 population for 125 wood. It's also like a garrison spot rather than building a house for 50 wood and 10 population. So yeah, should have just built a village there instead of these 2 houses. Let's see. He is getting wheelbarrow, but there's no imperial official supervising this mill, which feels a little bit bad because it would boost your food income, and it also speeds up the tech, and yeah, it would make the tech go quicker. So yeah, a little mistake there. Oh, and then Gentle is okay. He's just building a Barbican over here. This is very nice. Barbican on top of Hunt. Try to get some map control. Not bad, not bad. Ooh, and then a second TC go. So going pretty greedy, but this is probably okay. I mean, China can get away with like a lot of greed because you just build a Barbican here, and now it's like extremely hard to push this location, and it's extremely hard to push into Chinese town centers because like the TCs shoot their hand cannons, and just really they pack quite a punch. So yeah, you can usually get away with a lot of greed with China. But Gentle does have very little vision. I think he lost his scout, and he really has, or no, he still has his scout alive, but he has like no idea what the Mongol player is up to. So I would like to see Gentle doing a little bit more scouting. Seeing is the Mongol player going up to Castle Age? Is he adding a town center? Is he about to do like an all-in ram push? Like you kind of want to know what's happening, so you can know what type of units you should be making. Macro wise, and there we go. So the Mongol player is up to Castle Age, and yeah, Gentle's kind of just playing in the dark, didn't really know that. There's also a second TC. And another stable going down. Ooh, looks like he's going to make it a big... That's a lot of villagers going to the sun, like too much. Should have some pastures built to this time. So yeah, Gentle a little bit in the dark here. He is starting to float quite a lot of gold. And he is now making a farm transition with the granaries. You know, the granaries are really good for China, like they get pretty insane food income. But this is a bit dangerous because Mongols are very good at doing timing pushes. And especially Mongols have this ability where they kind of do a fast castle and then they do this like early castle timing push, potentially with a bunch of armored units or with a bunch of siege. And Gentle's going really greedy where he went fast dynasty and then a town center, which is fine, but then to also make farms on top of that and even try to age up, it basically means that Gentle's not going to have many units for like a really long time. So Gentle's like very vulnerable to an early castle push. As you see, he has like, you know, hardly any units right now. And the farm transition is going to kind of take some time to pay off. The Mongol player, let's see, he's kind of over making towers a bit. Yeah, he's, I would say, over making towers. It's like slowing down his potential for like a timing push. And it's not really being aggressive with any of his units. His macro's a bit off, so kind of missing the ball on a timing push option. And yeah, it looks like Gentle's for the most part still playing, you know, in the dark, not really scouting his opponent at all. So it feels like Gentle's kind of just like guessing like what units I should be making. Like he's making a well mixed army composition, but he doesn't really know like what units his opponent is going. It would be nice. He could have done like a small wall segment right there, closed it off. I think this one's actually a useless wall segment there, but on top of the raids, good APM responding to raids and all that. Bill's just going idle there. Let's see, what's his Imperial? He does have 4 Imperial officials, which is nice. He has one on lumber camp, that's good. Another one on, oh, he has one empowering the blacksmith, but I think he's done doing tech, so that guy's like idled right now, so he's being wasted a bit. He's throwing down a lot of military buildings, and his macro is honestly quite good for like a Gold 3 player, I feel like. Not really floating that many resources. He's throwing down like a ton of military buildings, which is like, could be macroing a little better to have more units out, but at the end of the day, this is like good. It's better to just throw down a shit ton of buildings like this and just spend your resources than like floating a bunch of resources. So, you know, his macro could be a little more efficient and all that, but this isn't that bad, honestly. He did build, like, the granary is not built in a good location because you want to be able to build a bunch of farms around your granary and then, like, the 3 granaries next to each other with a ton of farms around them. So he built his granary, you know, you have, like, the villages and all these buildings taking up that space, so... yeah, ideally you'd want to build like the granary like over here or something, or you know, back here, and then you can have a large space where you can build all 3 granaries and just have room for a ton of farms to place around them. So just a little sloppy placement there. And he's not trying, well, there he goes, denying relic there, which is nice. Yeah, like this is a little bit better, but yeah. It is a bit risky, just he's moving out with like this big army without a scout and with like no line of sight. Like imagine if there's just like 2 Mangonels like right here and they just get like a huge volley on all these archers and then like this entire army gets cleaned up. Like this is the type of push that's like extremely risky because you literally have no idea what your opponent has, and like they could just have like 2 Mangonels and like, you know, 8 knights, and then you could just get your entire army like deleted. So it's kind of risky to push like that. I do like this, like kind of multi-pronged attacks, multi-pronged raids, like that. This is really nice, but yeah, a little bit risky to just moving out without a scout for any line of sight. But it's kind of working out for him. Yep, he's being real good, even grabbing some relics here. Looks like this Imperial official is also being useless. Just I forgot to pull him off of there. I think he has all of his oh no, he can actually build one more village, it looks like. I think he only has 2 villages built, so another small mistake. He didn't build his last village, and now he's just building a bunch of houses kind of for no reason. I want to make sure you build all 3 of the villages. And yeah, once again, kind of just moving out without like a scout, without any line of sight. So, I mean, this trade's probably gonna go somewhat even, but could be worse. Yeah, he's actually gonna come out on top there. Probably has better text and all that, and just the better macro. And now he's got a good flooded unit, so it's not as risky at this point. Well, at this moment. Putting up a bunch of towers here. This is fine. Real big gold vein. Good to get some map control here. He did have this back gold that he could have went on, but it's also never a bad idea to like gain some more map control. So that's fine. The relic is not dropped off. You got to remember to drop off the relic. So it's kind of weird in game where like if you shift click the relic to pick up the relic and then drop it off, it doesn't work. Basically, the monk will like just stand by the monastery. That's when there's 0 relics in the monastery. But after there's a single relic deposited in the monastery, then you can shift click to pick up a relic and drop it off in the monastery, and the monk will actually drop it off. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but just like a small little thing that can help you out. So yeah, this is always annoying or unfortunate if you like. Obviously, you're not getting that gold gem, and you're thinking that it's in the monastery, but it's not. But yeah, honestly, like really good macro from Gentle, especially for like I think for Gold 3 player. Right? I think he doesn't have too many games played, so maybe he's like a little better than Gold 3. But yeah, this macro is like really good. He's not floating. It's like 25 minutes into the game almost, and he's like floating less than 1,000 res. That's pretty good. Yeah, like looking at the Mongol players floating, quite a bit more, like about 3k over 3k rise. The macro of Mongols can be quite difficult because macroing with Mongols is very unique compared to other civilizations because the separate out gathers gold so quickly, and you have pastures and all that, so it's a little bit challenging macroing with Mongols. Very nice raid here. Yeah, just still has that one monk there hanging out. Now he's starting to float quite a bit of gold, but he's been in a really good spot in this game for quite some time. Building a lot of towers here, it's almost like too many. I would rather maybe build them a little bit more out to get some more line of sight. But he's kind of creeping forward, which is okay. But they're just like all on top of each other. I don't know, like spread them out a little bit maybe. Oh, and actually when he saw this, he could have like reacted more to this, because I think he initially sent knights here to raid these villagers, and then I think his knights got killed by the Mongol knights. But if you see like, oh, he's got villas over here, Gentle could have like turned his attention and been like, okay, the Mongol player is on this gold. Like, this is super important. This is maybe his only gold source. Let me just send my entire army over here to try to force his villagers to, have to run away, and go idled and, not be able to gather gold. Like, if Gentle could have pushed him off this gold mine, maybe like a minute or a minute and a half gold, that can be huge to mess up somebody's macro. Good job avoiding the conversion. And yep, and the Mongol player tapping out. Yep, just not able to deal with all these units here. Yeah, so really good macro from Gentle. Let's say the major takeaways from this game was, number one, I think Gentle did have a really bad response to like the tower rush. He basically just pulled vills and tried to like attack the Mongol villager and deny the tower that way, and it was like kind of successful at like preventing the tower from getting up. But I think it was a bad trade if you look at like the amount of resources lost. Like, he had like 6 villas idled for a really long time. He even lost a villager, and the Mongol player could have played it much better if he didn't if his micro was better and he didn't lose the con, and he could have killed more villagers and that stuff. So I think instead of pulling the village like that, like I said earlier, he either should have just built a tower himself to deny the Mongol tower from getting up, or he should have built a barracks in early age 1 and just made spearmen himself. Or sometimes you can let the Mongol tower get up and then kind of ignore it if it's not in a super important location. Like maybe you can move your wood villas to a different forest, or remove them slightly so they're not in range of the tower, but then kind of ignore the tower for some time. Those are basically the 3 options there. But yeah, after that he played it quite well. Just did kind of typical China stuff where you go for a fast dynasty into 2nd TC, get crazy vill count, crazy eco, and just let your eco take you to victory. So yeah, well played there from Gentle, and yep, that's gonna be a wrap for this video. So yeah, like I said before, if you guys are interested in coaching, you can join my Discord. I guess I'll have links down below. And yeah, I'm gonna be charging a monthly fee for coaching and doing limited time offer for 1 week of free coaching. I don't know if I'm doing it this week. I don't know how often I'll be doing it, but yeah, let me know if you're interested. Alright guys, I am out. That is it for this record review.